has decided that, you know what, we're going to get rid of this paint on this here hallway. And she's been chipping away chunks. It's actually a nice color, we decided we like. What's up? So, as you can see, we are in the midst of some trim work and replacement in our house. Gotta put the trim up there. And so far, for the time being, last month, I had these up as I was kind of learning how to do this and realizing that we want to make some adjustments to this trim that we would put up. One thing, we uncovered this nice dark, kind of like underneath this white paint that was here, this like dark stain underneath the door frame that they put in this like hallway. Now, like, we kind of like a more natural golden, like kind of Hobbit bag end type of look in our house that we're trying to go for long term. So we're gonna I'm gonna sand this guy down, right? And then I got this nice golden oak color to go to stain on for this trim. And one thing I'm also gonna do, which I'll cover, is also try to make this trim more even with each other as I redo it. So we got this cool wallpaper in. It's kind of nice. It's has a nice cool mood in this little mini hallway we have. And so I'm looking forward to redoing this trim and expanding. So we're going to also put it on the ground. So let's start with the staining of this trim. Now, I'm a big fan of pre-staining with conditioner on any kind of wood. I really do feel it makes a big difference. So I decided to start with the remaining trim I had before I had cut it. And so I'm just going to do that first so that's it's done. But I'm going to do pre-staining here. And you're going to see, looking at this before, we'll see what it looks like afterwards. And then, as you quickly see, I've been reading up a lot that you kind of want to put this stuff on here pretty liberally and just kind of wipe the excess and wipe it down, similar to what you do when you actually do stain it. So that's what I'm doing right now. Just kind of dip it in a rag and just kind of working it down. Let's see. And I think what's kind of cool is that you can already see the difference between this trim right here versus these three. It has a nice solid kind of sheen on it. Kind of gives it a little extra wet, kind of moisturized look versus the kind of one on the flat other end here that I haven't done yet. So normally I wouldn't be doing this out in like the winter time when there's snow around, but today's a particularly warm day, above freezing, so that's why I'm getting it done. One thing I was very sure to do was to get the outside part of the trim and also the inside here and really try to make sure I got in the crevices. So I've shaken up and let this sit upside down for a while. Now we're going to try this golden oak stain. So this is the trim now after staining. It's only been a few minutes. I took extra special care to make sure that I wiped off any excess and really got in the cracks of the trim here, right in the grooves. Oop, there's a little spot. I need to wipe the excess off there. So yeah, you kind of have to keep going to make sure you don't kind of leave any excess, otherwise it'll show up, I'm sure, later. I know that from experience doing another stain that if you just kind of let it blotchy on there, it kind of looks like crap later. So I'm now going to let it dry, and then I'm going to look up top coats and see how does that change it. So it's been about 2 hours. So now I'm going to put on this top coat. Semi-gloss finish. Let's see how it looks. So there you have it. Just put the top coat on and really try to smooth it out. I kind of liking the color and the finish so far. It's definitely a much more vibrant thing going on. So I'm going to let this dry, and I think we'll have a better look at it afterwards. Gonna chip away. Chip, 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 chip. So check this out. This is the top of the door frame that was planed through this amazing, awesome planer. This is the mahogany board I tried it out on. So it revealed after you removed all this stain, a nice looking board here. Now I gotta sand all this off. But if we can get this through safely, these two pieces, we are well on our way. So I found that, oh, it's not focusing. Come on, focus. It's hard to see. Oh crap. But I found that the stain was not removing with sanding very well, consistently, even with like a really heavy grain. So I'm using polyurethane remover and stain remover. And I'm gonna let that, see if I can scrape it off a little bit more. Sorry, it's hard to see. It's a little hard to see. So, the door frame has now been glazed or being polyacrylic sealed. It's been stained. It's ready to be put back together. And then we're gonna put it back in the hallway and put it, let's do it. In the interest of preserving as much as I can, these nails are still good, and I'm going to use them to put the tops back together. And that took probably like 30 seconds. I think what's an amazing thing about old hallway or door frames is that they put them together by nails, which is honestly much more sturdy than the staples they use in today's like door frames, which can like easily kind of break, and you have to put those back together. It's hard to tell whether they notch like the long ends to make this fit in. I think it's quite interesting. I don't know how they would have done that back then. I'm sure there wasn't like all these machines available. So I wonder if it was done by hand. It looks like kind of not the straightest of line here to make this notch, but it's still very well done. And the nails just went in there really easily. Now, one of the more important things you got to make sure you do is that it's flush with the wall and that it is level as well. And I know that when I took it out, I measured the distance across was 32 inches. So I'm pretty happy how she's sitting. Now it's time to shim in between here so I can nail it in. I'm going to try to use some of the old shims if they're good, just to preserve more history. I like to preserve history, but I have shims and other things to use if necessary. But everything's looking pretty flush, which I like. Well, there you have it. The trim is up in here. The frame is up in here. Really pleased with it so far. Now I'm on to this, and I'm going to try to make them even with each other. And I've already made an adjustment to that one. But so far, liking it. I like it a lot. So it's been a little bit since I did an update on the trim. But so far, as you can see, they're going up. I really made a conscious effort to make these even with each other. It's tight as possible. You know, it's pretty good. I had to make adjustments with a house that's not square. You kind of have to not fight it, but kind of work with it, you know? So got to make the height work with each other and just kind of make changes and small cuts so you don't overcut, and just be careful and take your time. But I'm pleased with how it's going so far. Now it's time for the baseboard. So let's do the baseboard. Now, a cool trick I learned when doing baseboard is to, when you place it on the saw here, set it to 45 degrees like that, and then when you cut it, you bring it down on this 45-degree angle like that, and that will make it easy, rather than if you were trying to like do it like, you know, you can angle these saws like this and all that kind of stuff. Now just kind of go like that, whatever angle you're going in at, and you're good to go. Clementine inspecting the baseboard. What do you think, Clem? So as you can see, I went down here into the corner like so, into the nose of the dog. Oh, more doggos. And just like that. So it came out good. I even put little pieces in there. And there she goes. She is donezo. Thank you for watching.